this. Good morning, and welcome to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold.
Oh, hell yes.
This is the show where we talk about everything.
What the hell?
Well, almost. From today's news, culture, entertainment, real life, real people, and the stories everybody's talking about. And no, we don't do it in some tiny glass bubble. We do it the only way we know how. Real and completely unleashed.
Fire the hole, fire the hole, fire the hole.
So lean in and let's go right now.
Give me a hell yeah.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
And a heck of a great morning to you. Top of the morning. Monday, y'all. It is Monday, June 15th, 2026. You have tuned into the Unleashed, Uninhibited, Unapologetic morning show with Daryl Arnold. It's on 104.3 FM. The official title is Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold on all your favorite podcasts, all your favorite media outlets, all your favorite streaming devices, and of course, live in the studio. As you heard, last night and yesterday was so unbelievably exciting at the White House lawn. The Democrats fought it all the way till the end. Even the Weather Channel got in on it. But it came through, ladies and gentlemen. One of the greatest America 250 celebrations happened. Washington, D.C. made history with a all-American spirit UFC fight. And it was great. And if you didn't watch it, you should go back and watch it because it was really that good. And you don't even have to be into UFC fights because I really wasn't. I mean, I'm not. I do watch a little bit of it. But look, it was all about the celebration of the United States of America being 250 years old. So if you did not like it for some reason, or you did not want it to happen for some reason, I guess you're just un-American. We'll leave it at that. You are officially un-American. But it happened anyway. Dana White and Donald Trump made all this happen. And no, it didn't take up tax dollars like all these babies. I'm sure the media will be going crazy today in the next week and month and year talking about all this. Okay, the fighters were paid out of a personal account that had nothing to do with the United States citizens. Do you honestly think Donald Trump would have paid for that out of taxpayer dollars? Then you're not on the right team. You're not on the right team, ladies and gentlemen. You don't get it. It's all about celebrating the birthday of the greatest country ever, which is the United States of America. Believe it or not, there's a lot of us that still believe in that big experiment that started over 250 years ago, which became the United States of America with our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and everything else that goes along with this free country. And if you still think that it's not free, or somebody has told you that, or somebody has lied to you and called it a straight up democracy when it's really a constitutional republic, read history books. I say it all the time. Check out the history books, ladies and gentlemen. There's still a library out there. There's still a library that that's not ruined by the internet, that still has old books, still has old civics books. The Heritage Foundation offers free civics class online. So does Convention of States, COS.com. Read up on the Constitution, on the history, how it actually happened, and where we are in this country now compared to the way the Constitution was actually written, ladies and gents. Anyway, what a fantastic end of the weekend, which was the America 250. The Blue Angels flew over. Incredible. The fans were ecstatic. People that you may not have thought that would be there were there. I think Mark Zuckerberg may be coming around a little bit. I keep seeing him showing up at Trump events. Maybe he's trying to apologize for the absolutely trying to shut everybody's voice down some years back during the debacle of 2020 and beyond. Hopefully, right? Hopefully. We can always hope. You know, TikTok back in the day when it first started was allowing everybody to have free speech, but they've gotten bad. They're taking my videos down. They're taking friends of mine's videos down. They're trying to play the Gestapo that used to be on the other platforms. I guess since they got banned here and got bought out by certain companies who belong to certain other groups, they honestly think that they can take our free speech away from us again. Unreal. Unbelievable. You get one fix, you lose another one. All right, y'all. Again, Monday, June 15th. My name is Daryl Arnold. Unleash Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to talk all things America as usual because we party the right way around here, the American way. Hope you had a great weekend. It was a very busy weekend for myself, but we had fun doing it. And like I said, we ended that weekend out by Celebrate America with one of the most American events I've ever seen on a TV set, as they used to call it, or hell, as I used to call it. We got Father's Day coming up this week. This coming Sunday, June 21st. I can't believe it's already towards the end of June, ladies and gentlemen. What in the hell? Anyway, but over at Cameron's Garage, of course, Cypress Point Resort will have the Father's Day buffet as usual. Bring dad out, bring your fathers out, get them a fantastic buffet. And then, of course, over at Cameron's Garage, hang out with the dads. We're having the big car show that we do the third Sunday of every single month. It's called Beers and Gears. And it's brought to you by Richard and all them involved with the car show. It's always fantastic. Look, if you don't own a classic automobile, it's always great to come out and look at those because it's some really cool classic, vintage, and beyond super cool cars at this car show every month, Beers and Gears. So that's this coming Sunday on a Father's Day special, June 21. 6:43 in the morning now, Daryl Arnold. We're waiting for some big stories, but you guys need to wake up, get up, jump in the shower, jump out of the shower, jump in the car, get your day started right, slam a cup of coffee or whatever it is you do to get your day going. but keep it locked in on 104.3 or YouTube, my friends. YouTube, Unleash Media and Talk, or Facebook. And then you can also listen to the podcast after the show on Apple, Spotify, Podbean, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and so many more. All right. And this is not a quote meme on Facebook or X or TikTok or any of that, but I'm sure you've all heard. And if you haven't heard, you're going to hear today, and we're going to talk about it. But a deal was made. The Trump deal with Iran was made. That's what's happened. And the Strait of Hormuz should be open, and deal signed, and should be open by Friday. And we're going to, discuss that deal on and off all morning. But that deal was made yesterday on Sunday through lots of hard work. Will it stand? I'm the messenger here. I'd like to hear your opinion. Most people think it won't stand because Iran has always lied for 50 freaking years. So, will it stand is the big question. If it doesn't stand, we will get a lot of relief in the Middle East, and it will change things up if it does not stand later. But right now, the different performance-based parts of that deal are going to have to be met, or we're going to rain hellfire on them again. So I do know after announcing the deal yesterday, and these are, like I said, real numbers. This is not, fake memes or charts. It crashed the oil, which is a great thing. Just from hearing about the deal, it crashed with terminal velocity quickly. Crude futures went down immediately to like $74, $75 a barrel. I don't know if they're exactly around that now. But at $65 a barrel, if you remember, or if you were keeping up, at $65 a barrel is when we had $2 and below gas nationwide. So we're a few dollars, y'all. We're only a few dollars away from quote, wartime gas prices. Will that happen? No. I don't know. I'm the messenger here. The messenger. But it could. Absolutely it could. And we all hope, we pray for the country. We pray for all the people that are involved in this war. And we hope and pray that these gas prices get down. Drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill. Mark sent me a text. And by the way, the text line is 601-918-8409. Again, that text line is 601-918-8409 nationwide. Mark said the market will be flooded with oil soon. And it's not like the U.S. and others have not, keyword not, ramped up the production either. So if Iran plays nice, they also stand to benefit dramatically from this. So hopefully peace and less hostility. That's what we're looking for, y'all. It's not going to be perfect. Deals are never perfect when it comes to especially Iran or any Middle East country. It just doesn't happen. But for them to grasp prosperity and peace, that's what we have to do. Okay? That's what we have to do. We have to. But anyway, we'll just say it for now. Oil prices are sinking faster than an Iranian naval ship. Thanks for that text, Eric. Long-time listener, long-time friend, too. Appreciate the text. Someone said it's around 80 this morning, but hey, that's still in that pocket, y'all. That's still in that pocket. Still in the pocket. These charts are live. This was from last night before I went to bed. Obviously stayed up late last night because the UFC at the White House was incredible. The weather was scheduled to be horrendous, actually. I mean, really. And it turned out to be perfect. So much for the weather predicting naysayers. And I'm telling you, a lot of people were there, who the Democrats think are, really on their team, but I'm not so sure that they are. Trump unlocks the Strait of Hormuz. Ships fire up the engines and stocks soar and oil flying and flowing again. That's breaking news from Trey Yingst, who's been actually overseas now and over in the Middle East for close to 5 years.
Again, sending stocks soaring.
And we have team coverage for you this morning. We have Aisha Hasni. She is live in Geneva, Switzerland, with how this will impact the G7 summit. But first, we're going to start with Trey Yingst. He is live in Israel with the latest on this historic peace deal. Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. After more than 100 days in a state of war, a deal has been reached between the United States and Iran. President Trump taking to Truth Social overnight saying, quote, "This great deal will bring peace and security to the whole region. Many presidents have tried to make peace with Iran and all have failed before me. The leaders of the region have, for the first time, found a president who can help them achieve real peace." With the opening of the strait upon the signing of the deal on Friday for purposes of mine removal, oil will flow on both ends again for the region and the world. A signing ceremony is set to take place on Friday in Geneva, Switzerland. Before the deal was signed, it was nearly derailed. The Israelis targeted Hezbollah with strikes in the Lebanese capital of Beirut. Iranian officials immediately vowed to respond with missile fire toward Israel. A diplomat with knowledge of the situation told Fox News that Qatari mediators stayed in Tehran conducting intensive negotiations coordinated with the United States.
Yes. Thank you for that. That was a little update from this morning live. Just a less than an hour ago update if you're listening live. If not, that update happened this morning, Monday, June 15th, because the news changes so fast, so quick, so fast and so quick. Dana White, president, CEO of UFC, also said that the UFC will never, probably ever, be at the White House again. So it was something that you need to go back and watch. Okay. It was really done well. Joe Rogan, our friend, everybody's favorite podcaster, obviously, in the world, has dramatically always passed everybody in the ratings, numbers, and everything in podcast. He was there last night as one of the commentators. Did a hell of a job. But there was chill bumps watching the Blue Angels, as always, watching that fantastic band. Also, Zach Brown, big heads up to him for being invited, accepting it, and being a true American instead of making it about something that it really wasn't. Because, like, you know, it was what it really was about America, about our military, about our veterans, about our current troops, about the celebration of the Declaration of Independence and making America 250 years old now. That's what the hell it was really about. Zach Brown, he knows a little something about chicken fried too, because they asked him a little bit about chicken fried on this and why he accepted the amazing honor from the President of the United States, because that's what you do for our country, not for a bunch of far left lunatics that want to destroy our country.
I love it, man. I love this sport. I love the UFC. Grateful to my relationship with Dana, and he'd have us out here to play. You know, there's people saying stuff right now, some negative things about me coming to play this, and you know, and making it politicizing what it is. And I'm here for the troops. I'm here for our military. And Dana is too. I mean, that's the thing. You know, he was like, we want this to be about America and celebrating America's 250. So I'm honored to get to be a part of it. But if supporting our veterans kind of villainizes me to people, then those people really don't count anyway. So you got to be brave. You got to stick your neck out there for the things you believe in and stand up for. And Dana's a great example of doing that for decades now.
How did you write the verse in Chicken Fried, honoring the men and women who fought for our freedom? How did you come up with that?
We had a really ridiculous kind of bar-worthy verse for that for a long time. And then when I thought, man, this is everything we're talking about in the song are all the things that I love about America. Play that in a lot of bars before we even put it on a record. So, yeah, I mean, I just think it's important. It's important to, you know, be in gratitude to all the people that make sacrifices and suffer through whatever it is that they have to endure to give us our freedom, man, and just to be able to live our American dream because of all the sacrifice that they've made so that we can be safe here and able to do it.
Yep, he was discussing his song, Little Chicken Fried, baby. We all know it. And good for him for standing up for what's right. And he said it best. Don't ever be afraid to stand up for what's right. Don't follow along with the zombies that want you not to stand up to it, because that's exactly what they want. It's exactly what they want. And a big shout out to Paramount, owned by CBS. Yes, Trump wanted that to be on regular CBS. I knew that would probably never happen. I mean, some of us who keep up with things knew that would probably never happen. But he went with Paramount, which is also owned by CBS. And obviously the UFC already has a deal with Paramount Plus. So good for them. And right on to Zach Brown. Right on, my friend. You are a true patriot. You are a true patriot. We got a message here off Restream, so there's no telling where this Fruit Loop is listening from. He used the username Gray Area. He said it's not for America, it's for pedo Trump's birthday party. I mean, really? Seriously? Shut up and you're blocked. Shut up and you're blocked. Bye-bye. But real America loves you, Zach. Real America loves you. The only people saying anything about this that are negative anyway, like the guy that just sent the message, are the woke losers who know now that their movements that they've been pushing for the last 2 decades are coming to an end. They're coming to an end, ladies and gentlemen. We are all, instead of being clueless, we're not clueless anymore. Okay? We're not clueless anymore, and we're standing up for ourselves, and we're standing up for our country, as we all should. So good luck with that. And all the people that may have regretted playing, performing, whatever. Play on. But we won't forget, especially when it comes to buying your, quote, downloads, listening to your music, paying astronomical figures to go watch you play on stage. Play on, my friends, but we'll remember. We will remember. And that whole choir of voices that was there, incredible. Incredible. So that's my thoughts on it. And I know you're all out there saying, Daryl, you sound like you're swinging on Trump's chain a little hard. No, I'm swinging on America's chain real hard. Let's make that clear. Trump has been the one to bond together the celebration of America's 250th birthday. But literally, we're swinging on America. We're swinging on that chain, and I'll always swing on that chain. And if you don't like it, sorry. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. We're doing it anyway. Right now, it is the top of the hour.
Toto? I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
You're not. You're in Pearl, Mississippi. Listening to Power 104.3, The Pirate, where we play almost everything.
Support for these programs comes from Electrical Solutions and Services in Pearl, Mississippi, providing licensed electrical contracting services throughout Mississippi for commercial, industrial, and residential projects. Also installations, system upgrades, troubleshooting, and emergency electrical repairs. As certified installers for Tesla, charging systems, and a certified dealer for Generac backup power solutions, their team delivers safe, code-compliant workmanship with a commitment to precision and integrity. They are veteran-owned. Their phone number is 769-572-7597.
Every program in the Next ecosystem is designed to meet people where they are and take them where they want to go, in technology and in life. Mississippi Coding Academies is a nonprofit that bridges the digital divide, delivering accessible, affordable, and life-changing technology education across the globe. Funded by grants and donations that are truly making an impact at home and abroad. Learn coding, cybersecurity, and so much more with locations around the state of Mississippi. Go to mscoding.org today and go to your next level.
The Mississippi Reunion Concert. Everyone has waited on, and we have it at Cameron's Garage. August 7th, Crossin-Dixon. This is the concert of the decades not to miss. Join us at Cameron's Garage for an evening of music. The Stevens Brothers Band will kick off the night at 5:30 p.m., followed by Crossin-Dixon at 8 p.m. Purchase your tickets in advance for $15 or at the door for $20 at cypresspointms.com. This will sell out. We cannot wait to see you there.
I've got Southern comfort running through my veins.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
Welcome back. It is 7:03 in the morning. My name's Daryl Arnold. It is Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. 2 R's, 2 L's, and Daryl Also, it is the and sign. If you're searching it up on Facebook or if you're searching it up on, YouTube or the podcast, it is Unleashed Media and Talk. Not A&D, but and Talk with Daryl Arnold. I want to thank everyone for tuning in bright and early this morning. If you're listening live on the radio, or if you're on social media or on one of the platforms that is live streaming right now. Again, thank you so much. All right, so yes, we've been talking about that a lot, and we're going to continue to talk about it through the morning. Of course we are. And why wouldn't we? Why would we not? You'll get chills watching the thousands of active military members roar as the White House octagon they were in formation as the national anthem and the Blue Angels happened. I'm telling you, if you didn't get chill bumps, or you maybe haven't watched it yet, but when you do watch it, there's no way around it. If you're a true American, there's no way around it. No way around it, my friends. I'm telling you, we are the free country, and we need to remember that when we wake up in the morning complaining. The Blue Angels, my friends. Nothing like it. Nothing like it in the country, in the world, anywhere else. There's a reason why we always talk about everybody coming here illegally or legally. There's a reason why everybody wants to be an American. And sadly, at this point, I'm being serious. At this point of our country, we're at a very critical turning point that the Democrats and the Democrat Party, the current far left party, does not get it. They do not understand that this was not Trump's, quote, party. This was Trump's gift on his own birthday to our country. He threw the party for all of us, not for him. One nation under God. Okay? That's what happened. Liberty and justice for all. That's what happened. Anyway, all I got to say is it definitely gave the people watching chills if you're, especially if you live in this country. Okay? Especially. But there's always a but with people. And now these far right lunatics that have turned all of this into negativity, the Trump movement into negativity. And yes, one of my former, and the key word is former idols, Tucker Carlson, has lost his mind. Sorry. I tried to forgive him at first. Candace Owens, I don't give a damn. She's crazy. But Tucker hurt. Really. But it was a spectacle, and a spectacular spectacles happened all day to honor American patriots. That's the truth. But the liberal brains will be melting all day because they have no moral compass left. And if you have nothing to fight for, I don't get it. You need to be fighting for our freedom every day, speech especially. And that doesn't mean shooting. It doesn't mean violence. means standing up for your rights. Anyway, we're going to stop talking about that for a while because it was badassery. Figure that word out. That's what it was. That's what it was, my friends. Getting some bizarre, crazy text all over the place this morning. And chats, get involved in the chat as well. You can find it at Daryl Arnold MS on Facebook, Unleashed Media and Talk on Facebook with Daryl Arnold. Of course, YouTube and lots of other. Good morning to Magnolia Myra, the beautiful one. Sabrina is watching this morning with us. Stephen SRS has given us a shout out this morning. We are looking in on some of the other ones across the country. Colorado's been on fire with my podcast, as well as New Mexico, Texas, and Florida, of course, Mississippi, California, because California does have a lot of Republicans. You just don't know about it or hear about it. You don't know about it or hear about it because they are stuck with horrible leadership that has buried that state underneath horrible policies and regulations for the last 20 years. And that's what's happened. It is exactly what's happened. When JD Vance called in right as that UFC event was starting, but he called in on a phone call to drop a message yesterday on Sunday for the American people. Okay. He was thanking all of us for our patience. He was thanking all of us for believing, because if you're not believing in whatever it is that you do, you probably should do something else. It's just the truth. If you don't believe in the things that you are doing, then you probably are doing the wrong things. But yes, he called in on a phone call to thank us, not to thank himself or not to pat anyone else on the back, but to thank us, the American people, for believing and just being with him and the team during this crisis that we've been going through, you guys.
My primary message to the American people is thank you. Because of your patience, I think that we've solved the problem that has plagued this country again for well before I was even born, which is a terrorist supporting Iran that was pursuing a nuclear weapon. We are now at a place here where we can say with confidence they're not going to get a nuclear weapon.
That was Vice President Vance's.
Yeah, that was Vice President Vance's message. Knowing J.D. Vance, following J.D. Vance's history, following J.D. Vance's speeches and interviews, he sounded pretty freaking optimistic, you guys. I mean, honestly. He really, in fact, just did. He sounded like, hey, maybe this is the real deal. I mean, he really honestly did. There'll be the naysayers, there'll be these people have lost their mind, the naysayers. It's just unreal what they say about people. Maria said, you stirred up the Middle East. You did. You started up. Shut up. Marie. Wish I knew your last name, but, really? What did you do to help? What did you do to help, Marie? What did you, in fact, do to help? I'm going to go out on a limb and say absolutely nothing. except bitch and complain. I mean, these people are brutal. These folks, these Democrats, these Democrats, these dumbo dorks, they've lost their mind, Joel. They really have. The crucial question, though, the crucial question is the performance-based part of the deal. Okay, the deal is happening. I really, truly believe that. But it's the performance part of the deal that the general public's not seeing. So they're, running around saying this deal's horrible, blah, 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 CNN, ABC, NBC, the rest of the dumb dorks. But the crucial question is the performance-based part, because if they stick with that, we're great. If they don't stick with the performance-based part, the memorandum out is you'll get hammered. You're going to get hammered. So it's kind of up to them. It's not up to Trump. It's up to whether they stick with the performance agreement. These deals are way bigger than you guys think. These people out there that are hating. I mean, they're hating. And look, I am optimistically very concerned at the same time. Of course we are. These people have been lying for 50 years. But David Hall just texted me and said the $64,000 question regarding less of specific of the agreements is, can we obviously trust the IRGC? And I don't think we can. He doesn't think we can. Because why? You say, why, Daryl? Why are you doing that? Why are you saying that? Why is David saying that? Because things in this country, things in this world, and things in life, if you follow the history, it usually is what it is. Okay? And I'm an optimistic person, but there's also a little realistic in there as well. Now, I do at least hope that it works for a while to hopefully the Iranian people will start standing up for themselves. Do I know if that's true or not? Absolutely not. And you know what? You know who else knows? Nobody. So the people that are pushing all the negativity, they don't know either. Okay. They are right, though, when it comes to the history of the IRGC and, of course, the terrorist organizations that took over Iran and the last 40 plus years of tyranny, the last 40 plus years of violence, insanity. So, yes. But we're going to see what happens. Trump's at the Geneva Convention. The man only gets 3 hours of sleep. Left the fight straight over there to take care of business. Business. So that's that. Okay. We're going to get to a couple of things here in a few minutes. That are, we'll put a little comedy in there too, you know. One thing that history can now have, according to David Hall text again, is a recorded occurrence. Correct. That is the fact that President Donald J. Trump, the only one, the only person, the only president, Trump has been responsible and brought Iranian you know, he's brought the people to the table, okay, which nobody else could do, and to heal. No other president has been able to actually do that. And that's also a quote, historical fact. So, if nothing else that we get out of this deal, this will help mend a long time hatred. Okay. And I said help. This is not a magical solution, of course. We have to be realistic. It's not magical. We don't know the exact details, we don't know the fine print. But what we do know is what David Hall just texted. Okay. And that is the honest truth. Take it or leave it. Okay. Take it or leave it, but it's still true. Like it or not like the answer I gave you. It's okay. It's okay. Meanwhile, the pro Iran hacking group has breached the FBI's drone program that is being used to defend the FIFA World Cup. This also broke yesterday late. Hendala is what they call themselves. Hendala. They claim that they, and again, this is still just a claim that they gained access to the system and were watching the footage of the quote monitors at the actual games. The hackers also issued a quote chilling threat saying, "We don't like these teams at all," as the quote blockbuster tournament kicked off on U.S. soil this past Friday. Now, I'm not saying that, this is the New York Post reporting this. They're pretty good at reporting actual news instead of far left agendas. So that's what they're reporting. Iranian hackers also claim that they were threatening the quote team buses, busing people in. So, I'm not saying that wouldn't do something like that, because of course they would. Of course they would. Anyway, but thanks for Iran for the heads up. Foolishness. You claim all these things and let us know. How stupid is that? How dumb is that? But anyway, they're probably, quote, now, I'm not saying this to be true. This is my opinion because there's so much going on right now. But they are probably just using AI to pretend to do things, because that's a lot of propaganda out there is AI, period. If you haven't figured that out, you may want to look into that, because that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Somebody said, I predicted they were going to start messing with the bigger stage, as in the FIFA World Cup. Well, look, any large event, every day of this week, there are threats. Every single day of every week, every month, every day of every year. It's just the truth. And don't think for a minute that it's not. Don't think for a minute that it's not. And a lot of the time, it's hoaxes, it's AI, it's propaganda, it's nonsense. I'm not saying that we shouldn't take it serious. Not saying we shouldn't take it serious. And just because someone claims to, quote, be a hacker from Iran doesn't mean they're actually in Iran, dummies. Just scare tactics and propaganda most of the time. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take it serious. And the Kash Patel and the FBI hacker division, the cyber crimes division, all of that should absolutely take everything they say serious because they're maniacs. They hate this country and they hate us. Hate this country and hate us. Just a fact. A 100% fact. And, we hate to have to talk about this all the time, but it is true. We're not making these stories up. But we always thank our veterans around here, and we'll be right back.
We all make promises, big and small.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I do solemnly swear
to help you when you're in need,
to be considerate and caring, to be your loving, faithful friend,
partner,
child, parent, neighbor.
One of our most important commitments is to support our nation's veterans. Learn how you can help a veteran going through a difficult time by visiting maketheconnection.net.
If you or a loved one need reliable medical equipment, trust a name Mississippi has depended on for over 20 years. Mobility Medical, located right in Flowood, is your local family-owned source for mobility and home healthcare solutions. From power wheelchairs and scooters to lift chairs that help you relax in comfort, they've got everything you need to stay independent and live better every day. Need help at home? Mobility Medical offers hospital beds, tables, and essential supplies, and more. What sets them apart? It's their personalized service. Their experienced team works one-on-one with you to find the right equipment. Serving all of Mississippi and beyond with in-store support and delivery options available. Mobility Medical, helping you move better, live better, and stay independent. Visit them today in Flowood or call to learn more.
Don't forget to check out Cypress Point Resort. Memories are made at Cypress Point. Close to home, yet it feels miles away. At Cypress Point, you can truly get away from it all. You can step back to a simpler time, yet enjoy all the amenities of today. Cameron's Garage is a sports bar and music venue. There's a lunch buffet every day inside Cypress Point. They also have a steakhouse and the Tavern. The Tavern is a quaint little place with live music Wednesday through Saturday. And of course, you've got the Safari Park and Petting Zoo. Don't forget about all the event halls, including the Wedding Chapel and so much more. That's Cypress Point Resort, located at 874 Hollybush Road, Brandon, Mississippi. Contact them at 601-829-1101 or at cypresspointms.com.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
7:26, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday, June 15th, 2026. Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. 2 R's, 2 L's on a Monday, fun day. Monday morning, y'all. It's been hot. It's been humid. It's been insane around Mississippi and the deep south, babe. Go outside. You need a shower 4.5 minutes later. Summertime arrived early this year, but it's supposed to cool down a little bit. We're hoping for it anyway, right? Yes, we are. We are hoping for it. Changing gears. The Hoover Institution, Scott Atlas. Yeah, he was on the first Trump administration too, actually. But anyway, he was in a meeting recently talking about Anthony Fauci, the horrible, corrupt, evil Anthony Fauci. And yes, I'm talking about you out there, Dr. Fauci. He says that Fauci's goal, number one goal, was to make the public afraid and scared the most possible so that they would listen to the quote lockdowns and mandates. Yes, he said that. He said that. Dr. Fauci leaned over to him and said that also in Oval conferences at the main table. You know, what will ever happen to Dr. Fauci? I mean, what will ever happen to that dude? Will he ever be brought to justice? I mean, one could only hope. But I think this will definitely happen, if nothing else. People are waking up. People realize that they shut down not the whole country, but the whole world. The entire world. It has never, ever been the same since. Never. But what it did do, the only positive thing that happened, is it woke up a lot of people, and I don't mean woke agenda. I mean woke up a lot of people to the absolute tyranny, to the absolute disgraceful, honestly, want to get rid of you situation about Bill Gates, about Dr. Fauci, and so many more. So many more. And those are just two names. Okay. There's plenty out there. Plenty more. But this is Dr. Atlas, like recently, like this past week, talking about this again, because it's so irritating that Fauci's still walking around with freaking security, like Secret Service type security.
Fauci at one point leaned over this sort of oval conference table and said, one of the problems is the public is not afraid enough. And I was shocked to hear something like this. And I interrupted. I said, can you repeat that? Dr. Fauci said, that's the problem. The people are not afraid enough, so they won't listen. I think it's sort of obvious, but I said, you know, that's unethical. That's not the way public health is supposed to be done. It's unethical, in my opinion, to use fear in an emergency to manipulate people.
I think it's important to go over the definition of crimes against humanity, and it's acts committed as part of a widespread or systematic attack against a civilian population, taking away physical liberty. So would releasing a virus that causes a global pandemic be crimes against humanity? And the answer is yes. Releasing a global pandemic would certainly qualify as crimes against humanity. So, can crimes against humanity be pardoned? Absolutely not. You cannot pardon crimes against humanity. So, what is the punishment? Life imprisonment. And what is a historical punishment? Many life sentences.
What will ever happen? What will ever happen? What will ever happen, ladies and gentlemen? I seriously hope one day in the history books that our younger generation is taught what happened, what actually messed their lives up too, especially if they were in school and they couldn't even go outside. So ridiculous. I mean, so freaking dangerous to the society of any country, including this one. But of course, the number one tactic for the far left has been fear, a primary target of propaganda. Look it up. The psychological of propaganda is fear. It's just the success of propaganda. That's what they call it now, the success. It's psychological warfare with the fear grab. Okay? But Fauci continues to walk around. Anyway, I don't know. We the people, though, will never stop Anthony Fauci because he was never jailed or he was never held accountable for this. And that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. But many, many, many of people just like him and their true character of egotistical, self-centered, frankly evil people with little accomplishment, made up accomplishment, with the highest paying jobs in this country and every other country, have assembled together, quote, researchers who usually have never seen a patient before, ever. They weaponize the entire world. That's what they do. That's what they do. But we have always, in this country, because of our constitutional republic and our Declaration of Independence and our Bill of Rights and our rights, period, we make our own freaking health decisions, okay? That's what I was saying back then, and we're still saying it now. We don't want the government making our freaking health decisions. Anybody that bought into that and still buying into that, I'm so sorry. Please think about what you did and make sure you don't do it again. Okay, I'm not going to dog you out for falling for it, but don't do it again. Just don't. We were so close to everything being done here, you guys. So close. Some of you don't realize how close that we were for, you know, while the UFC event was happening last night on Sunday night, June 14th, over on the liberals counter program channels. This was what was going on the far left. They had some programming that was ridiculous just so they could go up against Trump and honestly go up against a celebration for America. There's something wrong there, y'all. Something is wrong there. And it's just absolutely not right. And who would you rather sing?
Bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. Hey there, all you fascists. Let me put you straight. When you come for the rest of us, we'll fight you at the gate.
Ugh. Yeah, I'm glad nobody forced me to watch that torture. And why do they always sing? Okay, why do the far left progressives always sing? And who told them, by the way, that they could sing? Just because they sang at a office karaoke party does not make you a singer. Loony, losers, lunatics. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. Of course, Robert Horrible De Niro got up with his hatred speech, and Julia Roberts. I don't know why they keep thinking and they don't learn that we're not going to listen to a elitist, rich movie star for our advice. Okay? We're not. Someone named Beth just texted me and said, I rolled my eyes last night when I ran across this as the volume was turned up by mistake. Give a sister a heads up next time. Yeah. What a freaking joke. Okay? What a joke. But that's what happened, y'all. That's what happens. CNN just broke that California is collapsing. Well, seriously, where have y'all been, though? Why are you just now bringing it up? Okay. Why are you just now admitting that California is a failing state? Because y'all been swinging and clutching and holding on to Gavin Newsom's fake scams for years. Okay. And we know that. And really, CNN and the rest of y'all, nobody listens to y'all anymore. Nobody. I thought our governor here, Tate Reeves in Mississippi, put up a great post on his own personal social media on yesterday, Sunday. He said, America often gets a bad rap around the world because of the carnage caught on camera in the, quote, blue liberal cities like New York, LA, Oregon, Minnesota, and so much more. He goes, but we in the South know that the real America is rural America, and there's no competing with that. And he's absolutely 100% correct. I couldn't be prouder right now to live where we live because we think it's bad everywhere else. And the verdict is in. The Europeans that have come over here for the FIFA, they're obsessed with the food. They're obsessed with everything in rural America during the 2026 World Cup stay. And that's the honest to God truth. And I agree with Mr. Governor Tate Reeves right here in Mississippi. I just do. I do. I do. But there are a lot of loser blue cities in every state that ruin it for the rest of their state that they're in. That's what I was talking about earlier. There's a lot of people, conservatives in California, but they can't make up for the carnage that's going on in the large cities. The LAs, the San Franciscos, San Diegos, all of that. And it's just what this country has turned into since Barack Hussein Barry Obama. Oh, we got a shout out to his wife coming up too. But Rainn Wilson, y'all may remember him from the TV show The Office. Funny show. Was on for many, many, many seasons. He was actually on an interview over the weekend saying that show, The Office, which was mild comedy, by the way, would not be, quote, appropriate anymore. And he's probably right. Media trends have shifted so far left that, quote, cancel culture, whatever you want to call it now, cancel you out, basically. Ruin your career, basically. He said it makes all comedy. He said it makes all comedy ridiculously hard. And of course it does. He's not wrong. Now they'll probably rag him out for talking about it, but he's just telling the truth.
I do feel like you couldn't make The Office today. I think that would be too hard to be as politically incorrect as the show was. I think there has been a bias in the media towards more what we call liberal policies. They're willing to overlook the Plattner Nazi tattoo, but if it was someone from the other side that had a tattoo that was questionable, they would be all over MSNBC about it. So it's the hypocrisy that gets me the most. It's the hypocrisy of like both sides need.
It's super hypocrisy. because, like he said, Graham Plattner, who could technically win in Maine, of course, it's ridiculous. More and more things, and I don't mean good things, I mean horrible things, are coming out about that guy every day. But yet, of course, Bernie, Phil the Burn sons, Bernie and Elizabeth Pocahontas, and the rest of them are still in AOC, still standing behind this maniac, except for John Fetterman. He's the last one standing in that party, y'all. That whole party. Okay? It's, and the tough guy act that Graham Plattner had is tired. It's the Democrats, the dumbo dorks, the Democrats trying to find a, quote, tough guy scenario to go up towards the MAGA crowd or the America First crowd or the, quote, crowd that has common sense, maybe. All right, y'all, we're going to break. It is 7:44 in the morning. My name is Daryl Arnold. You've tuned into the Unleashed, Uninhibited, Unapologetic morning show, Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. 601-918-8409. Text me now or anytime.
These programs comes from Electrical Solutions and Services in Pearl, Mississippi, providing licensed electrical contracting services throughout Mississippi for commercial, industrial, and residential projects. Also installations, system upgrades, troubleshooting, and emergency electrical repairs. As certified installers for Tesla, charging systems, and a certified dealer for Generac backup power solutions, their team delivers safe, code-compliant workmanship with a commitment to precision and integrity. They are veteran-owned. Their phone number is 769-572-7597.
The Mississippi Reunion Concert. Everyone has waited on, and we have it at Cameron's Garage. August 7th, Crossin' Dixon. This is the concert of the decades not to miss. Join us at Cameron's Garage for an evening of music. The Stevens Brothers Band will kick off the night at 5:30 p.m., followed by Crossin' Dixon at 8 p.m. Purchase your tickets in advance for $15 or at the door for $20 at cypresspointms.com. This will sell out. We cannot wait to see you there.
I've got Southern comfort running through my veins.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
And yes, it is still Monday, June 15th, 2026, Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold, 2 R's, 2 L's. And it's the and sign, not A-N-D. All right. Thanks for joining us on this early morning. We're talking about all kind of stuff that happened over the weekend. John Fetterman is the only Democrat with common sense left in the country. And the tough guy, Graham Plattner, who roughs up his ex-girlfriend and has a Nazi tattoo. Anyway, he called John Fetterman an a-hole. Ooh, scary. Not scary at all. Anyway, here's Fetterman's response over the weekend.
He has said about you. This is what he said about you at a recent town hall. I want to give you the opportunity to respond. He says, I get a lot of criticisms. I get a lot of criticisms about the way this government functions, but in order for us to make it functional, we're gonna have to do stuff. And you can't just go down there and be John Fetterman and just sort of be, and he uses an expletive. What's your response to that criticism, Senator?
Oh, I'm devastated. I'm devastated. Like the guy that, the tough guy that roughs up, ex-girlfriends and the guy with the Nazi tattoo and all those things. So for me, I'll take everything he says as a badge of honor. And he's going to find out, once, if he does win, he's going to find out he's going to be 100 out of 100. And now, you're not going to drag Jeff Bezos in. You're not going to, he was bragging, I'm going to get arrested. Go ahead, go be a dick and go get arrested. That'll go, they'll love it. They'll love it, here in the Senate now. So that's here we are. And, I'll be the Democrat to call it what it is.
It was signed, it was nearly derailed.
Yeah, I wonder what Graham Plattner will say about that. Yeah, I think when you call that guy out, he's not such a tough guy. I think when you call that guy out, he is absolutely not such a tough guy. He really needs to be worried about his legal problems instead of talking BS about somebody else. Really and truly. That's just the way it is. And he's, I don't know. He's a freaking 100%, 1,000% loser. That's what he actually is. And that's just the truth. I don't know if y'all were watching the event last night, the UFC event, but Josh Hockett, he broke some breaking news on stage. You could call it that. While he was on stage, after he took that fight to another level, during his post interview on live TV, of course, he broke out just a little bit of information for y'all. We're going to talk about that.
Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
This.
Wow. Yeah, well, reported by Josh Hockett, he said that the former First Lady, Michelle Obama, was a man. I'm not saying that's true or false. I'm just reporting what was said. So, and it was said on live TV. Okay? Anyway, from him, not from me. I'm just the messenger. So that was some breaking news last night for sure. It definitely broke the internet. It definitely broke the entire internet. I don't know. But that's what was reported last night, ladies and gentlemen, on the UFC America 250 match on the White House green. So take it for what you will. Okay? Oh, my God. But it was live. It was loud. It was incredible hype.
Come on, we are live from the White House in Washington, D.C.
You've now probably...
Yep, it was loud. It was live. It was in D.C. from the White House. That's what it was. That's what it was. Fairfax County, which is basically DC, it's Virginia, but it's right across the line, say that they're being asked, y'all, to trade Christmas, like Christmas Day, for more classroom time. A district survey is asking families over in the ridiculously blue Fairfax County, Virginia, whether religious and cultural holidays should be removed from school calendar in exchange for, quote, learning days for students. One Fairfax mother tells Ainsley Einhart over at Fox News the district has shown little interest in hearing the parents' objections. And quite frankly, she's accusing the school leaders of displaying anti-Christian bias. Okay? Because you're raised by a family instead of a loser, apparently, we're going to do this. So saving America is still a work in progress. But if we don't pass the Save America Act, we're never going to save America anyway. Okay? It's time for Fairfax County, Virginia parents to look at what the teachers at the schools are teaching your children. That's what you need to be concerned about and looking at. Okay? Apparently, Christmas is more than a convenient time off for these people. It's just a convenient time off for them. They don't really care. But what it really is, it is a celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ, people. God himself in the flesh. And it's an event that has shaped our entire civilization, our culture, our calendar, not for days, not for months, but for centuries. Schools out there, listen, you should be very careful about treating Christian holidays as an expendable while claiming in your little circle, while claiming to be a religious person or, hey, I go to church or whatever it is. Stop being fake. And obviously, it happens all the time, unfortunately. But obviously, this is another attack on Christianity. You know it is. I know it is. I know it is. But they do need more class time. I agree. But not on frickin' Christmas Day. And obviously, there's so many more pronouns that they need to learn. They probably do need more classroom time. What they really need to do is unlearn all of that crap. That's what they need to focus on. Okay? They need to focus on that bad, real bad, real bad. Boston mayor. She's a real winner. Michelle Wu. She made a very bizarre Pride Month rant and directed it directly at Trump, which that's not that surprising. But somehow her base movement over there in Boston is so divorced from reality, ladies and gentlemen. They are absolutely like some insane new Netflix show. They are divorced from reality. That they actually chant and clap when she demands for applause, suggesting, yes, this is true, by the way, oddly enough, after she suggests federal funds should be diverted from the White House to sex change operations for children. I'm going to pause for a second while I throw up. I mean, seriously.
Love and freedom, courage and resistance. Pride is the right to be exactly who you are, to be treated with dignity and respect. And pride is what we need as this federal administration tries to intimidate our residents and community partners. They are trying to roll back the progress that generations of activists and leaders sacrificed for. They would rather remodel the White House ballroom than fund the gender-affirming healthcare that saves young people's lives.
Is there anyone out there, and I welcome comments, even if you listen to this on the podcast, that can prove to me why that's, or how rather, that would save young, and I do mean underage people. We're not talking about adults here. Adults can do whatever the hell they want to. But how that could save a underage child's life. And I know you're not going to have a good answer because it's not possible. There is no good answer to that. There is no good answer. Period. It's just the truth. I mean, you wake up and it doesn't even seem real that people say this stuff. Doesn't sound real at all. Unfortunately, it is, though. Unfortunately, it is. Completely idiotic. Typical, though, unfortunately, for the far left progressive wing nuts. Period. There's always a freak show going on, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes it's free. All you got to do is listen to the far left. All you got to do is listen to the progressives. They're so out of touch with, like, Governor Reeves and everybody else is. They're so out of touch with real America, rural America, normal America. That's why they're flipping out, because they don't want anything to do with lines change for elections. They don't want anything to do with redrawing districts, because they know they can't win. They're absolutely nut jobs, and nobody's going to fall for that except for their inner INNER, inner city crap. That's it. That's who's going to fall for it. That's who always falls for it. Nobody else falls for it. No one. No one. No one falls for it. So I told y'all there was maybe a couple of fake threats to the World Cup and all that. CNN, of course, Garbage Network, had Mark Wayne Mullen on, kind of pushing him about security.
Security undertaking.
Yes.
Are we prepared for that? Are there specific threats against the World Cup?
There's not specific threats. There's a threat because of the amount of people coming in. We have 5 to 7 million visitors. It's going to be here over the next 35 days now. There is always a threat of that. Are we safe? Yes, we're going to have a safe and one of the best World Cups in the history of this event. The truth is, though, with the Democrats defunding ICE and CBP for 115 days and DHS for 76 days, it made it tough. Our MOUs that we had with our local law enforcement, the reimbursement was behind. So they had a tremendous amount of expenses coming out because we can't do this without our local partnerships. The amount of security that brings in with this is unending from the teams coming in.
Also, my answer is, my comment is, stay safe out there. We are the greatest country in the world. We are America. We're celebrating our 250th anniversary, and we're doing it in style. And I hope that all of you know what it's really about, not what you hear on the mainstream media, but what it's actually about, what it truly means. We're not celebrating Trump. We're celebrating America's 250. Okay, that's what it's all about. My name is Daryl Arnold. Unleash Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. It's on the radio at 104.3 FM, all the podcast networks. It live streams. Thank you so much. Good morning, Monday. And at the same time, see ya.
Thank you all for tuning in. Hashtag unfiltered, hashtag unapologetic. America First Talk at its best, where we party the right way. See you next time, or else.